Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbity Bobbity Books. My name is Ellie and today I'm really excited to be filming my birthday book haul. So I recently had my birthday, I turned 30, which is slightly terrifying, like I can't believe I'm actually 30 years old. But I had such a nice birthday and I had such a great time celebrating, and I was really lucky to receive some books for my birthday as gifts from friends and family. And I also treated myself to quite a few books as well, because if you can't treat yourself on your birthday, then when can you? So I've got quite a few books to talk to you about today. I'm super excited about all of these titles. I can't wait to read them, and yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to jump straight in and start showing you the books. So the first book that I have to show off to you today is a classic. Now classics are a genre of book that I am slightly intimidated by, but it's something that I really want to delve more into. I want to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit, especially now that I'm 30. I don't know, I just feel like I should read some more classics. So I was very excited to get this one for my birthday, and this is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And I got this absolutely gorgeous cloth bound edition, which is just stunning. It's going to look so nice on my shelves, and yeah, I'm really excited for this one because this is quite a gothic tale as far as I'm aware, and I am quite drawn to gothic stories, so I think if I'm going to read a classic, then I probably would really enjoy this one and some of the more gothic-y style ones. So if you've got any recommendations for me, please do drop them down below. But yeah, from what I know of this story, we obviously follow a man called Dorian Gray, and he is a very vain gentleman, and I believe he ends up selling his soul so that he can stay young and beautiful forever. And he has this enchanted portrait of him, and it's actually his portrait that ages rather than himself, so he stays young and beautiful forever while his portrait gets really old. And yeah, that's honestly all I know about this story. I've heard people say that it's very atmospheric, which sounds right up my street, and I think this is going to be perfect to pick up maybe slightly towards the autumn season when things are getting a little bit cooler and I'm wanting something a little bit more atmospheric and creepy. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to giving this one a try. So yeah, that's the first book that I got. The next book that I have to show you is also a classic, and it's one that I actually bought for myself because I thought it was just so sweet. And the one that I'm talking about is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. So this is such a gorgeous little edition of this book that I saw. Such a lovely hardback. It's got some detailing on the back there with a quote and a wheelbarrow, and just a gorgeous cover. I was just so drawn in by this one. And The Secret Garden again is a classic that I really want to try. I grew up watching the 90s movie adaptation for this book, and I really enjoy that movie. It's basically about an orphan called Mary who grew up in India, and she ended up having to move to England, to the Yorkshire Moors, to move in with her uncle, I believe, in this big sort of manor house. And of course it's very different from her upbringing. She's having to deal with the loss of her parents as well, and the culture shock of moving from India to Britain, to the UK. And it's a really creepy house, and she's quite frightened, and she ends up finding escapism in the gardens, and she spends a lot of time outdoors, and she stumbles across this doorway that's kind of hidden by vines, and she finds a way in, and she sneaks in and she finds this secret garden that's kind of been abandoned and has gone all kind of overgrown and wild. And so she sets about trying to restore this garden and bring it back to life, and she's helped along the way by a couple of friends, some unlikely friends. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, it has a really beautiful ending, and I really enjoy the focus on nature in this story and the kind of healing powers of nature. And yeah, I'm just hoping this has all of the whimsy that I'm craving, and I hope that I enjoy it as much as I enjoy the movie. I mean, I do know that books are often better than movies, so I've got very high hopes for this one. And yeah, what a gorgeous little hardcover to have on my shelves as well. Right, next up, I'm just going to pull from the bag randomly. So the next one that I have is The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. So this is the first book in a adult fantasy series, and it is a kind of ocean-based fantasy. And as far as I'm aware, we're following a group of seafaring folk who build these ships out of the bones of ancient dragons, I believe. It says, the dragons disappeared, but the battles for supremacy persisted. Now the first dragon in centuries has been spotted in far-off waters, and both sides see a chance to shift the balance of power in their favour, because whoever catches it will not only win glory, but the war. So yeah, I think this one sounds really good. I've been craving some oceany based fantasy books recently, I think because we're kind of in the summer, and I kept seeing this one recommended, so I'm very excited to give this one a go for myself. I'm expecting it to be you know, everything you want from high fantasy. I think it's going to be quite political. We've obviously got this war going on, and I'm very intrigued by these dragons. Next up we have another epic adult fantasy book, and that is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I am so excited to have this one. I have been meaning to read Robin Hobb for the longest time. I keep hearing people ranting and raving about how wonderful her writing is and how amazing her character work is, and I am such a character driven reader, so I have a feeling she's going to be a new favourite of mine, but I've just been a little bit intimidated to pick up her works because of how much everyone praises it, and I'm just hoping that I enjoy it as much as everyone else does. So in this story we follow our main character Fitz, who is a royal bastard, and I believe he gets hired by the crown to train as a royal assassin because of his unique position as a royal bastard, because basically he is able to attend royal events and mix with nobility and things because of his connection to the crown, but he's not incredibly he's not like a really high status person. He's not really noticed by the nobility because he is a bastard, so he can kind of go unseen a little bit, but he can also mix with the lower classes as well and the poorer people in society because again he is a bastard. He's not like a true royal figure, if you see what I mean. So he's in quite a unique position where he can gather information, he can go unnoticed, he can mix between the noble classes and the lower classes, and yeah, so that places him in a good position to be an assassin. So yeah, that's all I know about this story really. I don't want to know too much more because honestly I just want to go in and see what I think for myself, but as I've said before, the character work is supposed to be amazing in here. It's also supposed to have quite a cool magic system as well, and yeah, I'm so excited to finally read some Robin Hobb. Okay, next up we have Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. So this is a science fiction thriller horror novel. It's adult, I believe, and yeah, I was really intrigued by this one. I haven't heard that many people talking about it, but I thought that the concept sounded really interesting. So I'll give you a read of the blurb on the back. So it says, 7 years ago, the targetess set off on a voyage to the Mariana Trench to film a mockumentary bringing to life ancient sea creatures of legend. It was lost at sea with all hands. Some called it a tragedy, others called it a hoax. Now a new crew has been assembled to investigate, and they'll discover that whatever is down there is definitely no joke. I think that just sounds so interesting. So I love the fact that we had this crew that went to film this mockumentary and it went missing, and then we've got these people going 7 years later to try and find out what happened, and I'm gonna guess that we find out that it wasn't such a mockumentary after all, and perhaps there are some evil things lurking in the water, which sounds really scary and also really good. Right, next up we have a young adult book. So we've got Fable by Adrian Young. So this is a YA book that I wanted, and I think this is going to be perfect for when I go on holiday because I wanted something that was going to be light. You know, sometimes adult fantasy can take quite a lot of your attention and it's not really the perfect book, I don't think, for reading by the pool. So I wanted something that would be a little bit more light-hearted, and this one really stood out to me because again it's kind of like a watery based fantasy. So this one says on the back, as the daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows, the sea is the only home 17-year-old Fable has ever known. It's been 4 years since her father abandoned her on a legendary island filled with thieves and little food. To survive, she must keep to herself, learn to trust no one, and rely on the unique skills her mother taught her. The only thing that keeps her going is the goal of getting off island, finding her father and demanding her rightful place beside him and his crew. To do so, Fable enlists the help of a younger trader named West to get her off the island and across the Narrows to her father. But Fable soon finds out that West isn't who he seems. Together they will have to survive more than the treacherous storms that haunt the Narrows if they're going to stay alive. Yeah, I just think this is going to be such a fun YA. I love the fact that it's set on the seas. It sounds like it's going to be kind of piratey, and I'm expecting there might be a little bit of a romance in here as well with it being YA. And yeah, I think this is going to be the perfect poolside read, and I'm very excited for it. Next up we have Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I am so excited to have this book. So this is a very famous book. I'm sure you've probably all heard of this one before, if not seen the movie. I love the movie. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? And yeah, I just really wanted to read the actual original book because I've heard a lot of people saying that this book is fantastic. I think it is quite close to the movie, but it just adds a layer of complexity. I think it goes into a little bit more detail around the science behind the dinosaurs, which sounds really, really interesting. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to finally have this and to give this one a read. I hope it's going to be as exciting as the movie. Okay, next up we have a book that I've wanted for a while now, and I'm excited to finally have it in my hands, and that is House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig. So this is a fantasy fairy tale retelling. So if you know me at all, you'll know that I love fairy tale retelling, so I was instantly drawn in just from hearing that. I believe this one is young adult, but I hear that it's quite scary and that it's quite eerie, which again sounds right up my street. And yeah, it's a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses as far as I'm aware, and it's kind of set under the sea again, so I might end up taking this one on holiday with me as well because I'm craving all of the oceany based books for holiday. And yeah, I've heard fantastic things about this one. So again, I'm just going to read you a little bit from the back. In a manor by the sea, 12 sisters are cursed. Annalie lives a sheltered life at Highmoor with her sisters. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls. Now 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short, each death more tragic than the last. Disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, Annalie becomes increasingly suspicious that her sisters' deaths were no accidents. The girls have been sneaking out every night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers, and Annalie isn't sure whether to try and stop them or to join their forbidden trysts. Because who or what are they really dancing with? When Annalie's involvement with a mysterious stranger who has secrets of his own intensifies, it's a race to unravel the darkness that's fallen over her family before it claims her next. House of Salt and Sorrows is a spellbinding novel filled with magic and the rustle of gossamer skirts down long, dark hallways. How good does that sound? Yes, I'm really, really excited for this one. I hope it's going to be as eerie as I want it to be. And yeah, I think again I'll be saving this one for my holiday. So very, very excited for that one. And yeah, that's actually all of the books that I actually received for my birthday, but I have one more book to show you, and that is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. So this is a standalone fantasy book, and you might have heard me talking about this book already because it's actually one of my most anticipated releases for the year. So I'm very, very excited to finally get to this one. And yeah, I'm going to be buddy reading this with Kirsten from Reading Nymph next month, so very, very soon, and I'm super, super excited about it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun chatting about this book. Yeah, I'm not going to give you a read of the synopsis just because I feel like I've spoken about this book quite a lot on my channel, but it's essentially a book that follows a ragtag group of people who come together to try and kill the prince. So we've got our main character Mara, who's a shy convent-raised third-born daughter, and she ends up banding together with a grave witch, a reluctant fairy godmother, a strapping former knight, and a chicken possessed by a demon. So it sounds like quite a random bunch of people, and they all come together to try and kill the prince as far as I'm aware. So yeah, I think this is going to be so, so fun. So yes, I will be reading that one very, very soon. I will of course have Reading Nymph's channel linked down below. You should go and check her out because she's a wonderful human and she makes great videos, and I love watching her channel, so definitely head on over to her channel and support her. And yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this book haul. I'm so excited about all of these books. I'm actually having a hard time deciding what to pick up next because I'm just so excited for all of them. So please let me know what you think I should read first, and let me know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts were, because I'd love to have a chat with you down in the comments below. Please consider liking this video if you liked it because it really, really helps out my channel, and consider subscribing as well if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more from me. And yeah, without further ado, I guess I will see you next time with another video. Bye!